I think people can see me now. I'm live, I hope. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I'm going to be monitoring. I'm doing a little bit of a different setup today. So do let me know how my levels are. Let me know where you're from. Say hello for sure. I think it's working. And you'll notice an upgraded camera. So I figured out how to do some live streaming directly from my DSLR. I won't be able to look at my monitors right there. So I won't be able to look like directly at the chat and at the camera. And I'm catching myself looking at the viewfinder. So we're gonna get better with this. And one thing that I can do is swap cameras, I think, like that. So I can give it a little look over here. And we have Savannah on. I'm gonna give a shout out to the folks that are on here. We have Alex, we got Marty, we got Gustavo, many students of the course, always love to see that. We have Sharma and a lot of folks here. I'm gonna keep looking at the chat. Hopefully again, if we're lucky, you can hear me. It doesn't always happen. It's late in some places. People are tuning in from Germany, from Portugal, from all over Melbourne, 5 a.m. Somebody got up early in the morning to watch me talk about nonsense. Daniel's on, and somebody's in Wyoming. Hope this works. That's cool. I like Wyoming. We have David. Laura can see and hear me. Fantastic. Miska says you could hear me, and perfect. All right. Yeah, from Cape Town, we got Barry, and all right, from New Jersey, lots of folks. We got Jim from Silicon Valley. All right, awesome. And Shayan from Pakistan. Cool. So yeah, I did figure out how to hook up my DSLR, which we can hop back over there, I think. So it's pretty cool. And I'm happy that I figured out how to do it. The downside is I don't have a AC battery pack yet. One is coming on Monday. So then I'll be able to, not have to swap out batteries. Obviously with a live stream, I cannot do that. So before too long, that camera that I'm shooting through right now is gonna go away. You'll notice that I put some pictures up on the walls here so you can see, it looks nice, it really pops. I like the color. I like the color a lot. If people are familiar with the Yellowstone area, you'll recognize there's Morning Glory. Whoever is from Wyoming has probably been to Yellowstone, but you have like Grand Prismatic right there. There's the lake. That is Old Faithful right there. I know it's out of focus for right now, but you'll be able to check that out in the future. And we got Brady on. Brady, you're going to get a plug shortly. So Brady is going to offer some free coaching. All right, so I'm going to mention that in a second. Somebody from Charlotte, from India, from Florida. We got Jeremy, a bunch of people. Okay, so we got a few things going on. And here's what we're going to talk about today. I have to pull open my little agenda here. So we are going to talk about the commission rate change that happened in April. So just a few weeks ago. And I'll get into that in a second. We also have an upcoming course and a free challenge. So new course really around diversified monetization, and it's one of those big transformational courses as well. So that's coming out soon in a few weeks. So you will want to just remember that I'm talking about it now. I'll be talking about it more in the future. There's going to be a free challenge associated with that course. So if you show up for the free challenge and you do the assignments, which are straightforward, if you show up and you do the assignments, I'm giving out one free scholarship to the course. So you should show up, you should do the activities, and it's going to be a good thing in the long run. All right. It looks like we had double overlays there. I'm not sure what happened there. So the challenge is going to be exciting because I've been doing so many live streams. It's like a no-brainer to just make that transition over. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about this new fast theme that I'm using. Matt Giovanisi developed it over at moneylab.co, and Listen Money Matters. It's called Carbonate. And I like the ideas behind it. And I finally went and bought it. And I'll be using it in what I'm going to call like a semi-public case study. So in the course that I just teased you, it is unnamed at this point in time. At this new course that's coming up, I will be building a site live within the course, and I'll be sharing that as we go. Additionally, I'm going to be using the Carbonate theme because it's fast and there's some options, but not too many. I don't like to have too many options because your brain kind of goes into overload. We're also going to talk about like this free coaching option that Brady from Brand Builders is bringing to the table. And I'll go over a few details there. But basically, if you want someone to answer your questions, help you get started, especially if you're trying to figure out like what niche to get into, some basics of keyword research, structuring content, link building, many things, Brady will be able to talk through it with you. I mean, I can't imagine offering free coaching. It's kind of bananas to me. But for whatever reason, they thought it's a good idea just to help people out. I mean, it's good to help people out, but dude, if I opened up my calendar like Brady's opening up his calendar, I would lose my mind. I'll be honest with you. I would absolutely lose my mind. And basically, you're going to be able to just go, the link that I have in the description there goes directly to Brady's calendar, and you could just book it from there. So you'll want to check it out for sure. And I'm going to hop back. I answer some questions here, but in many ways, I talk about the stuff I'm going to talk about, and then I'll hit the questions at the end, just to give you an idea on how this is going to run. I have, in the past, long-time friends probably remember that at some point in time, I would answer questions the whole time. I mean, the good part with only answering questions is you literally don't have to do any preparation. You just show up, you answer questions. The downside is there's no preparation done ahead of time, and you just show up and answer random questions. And sometimes that degrades to a point where you're just answering a question that someone could have Googled, that's no fun, right? Nobody wants to hear me answer a question that someone could have looked up. But the worst part is sometimes, and this is the nature of live streams, by the way, so it is part of the format, but someone could ask the same question that someone already asked and we already talked about and answered. So they would just ask again. And sometimes, because it's on YouTube, sometimes people would just kind of be assholes and just ask the same question like 4 or 5 times, which, quick note, don't do that. I would say it's it's like a 1 strike or a 0 strike policy, depending on like your orientation on that. But generally, yeah, if you're cool in the chat, we're cool. But if you're not, then you get banned from the channel. So kind of low, I would say low to no tolerance on that one. But anyway, I want to let you know that this live stream is brought to you in part by Ezoic. Ezoic is one of those Google certified partners, and they're pretty awesome. I have been testing out their site speed accelerator, which can really help you get your Google page speed insight score up much higher. I didn't put a link in the description, but I did do a demo where I took a site that was roughly like unoptimized, and I think it had a PSI, page speed insight score, of about 27 to the low 30s. And after I implemented the site speed accelerator, it was at 98 to 99, so much higher. And basically, you can get a free 7-day trial for the site speed accelerator. So if you have seen those errors in your search console dashboard, slow loading, and maybe some pages are loading slowly, you can use the site speed accelerator to address that. So you can check the link in the description to work with Ezoic. By the way, if you have any trouble getting anything working with Ezoic, the support's really good. Let them know that you know me, and they will treat you even nicer than they treat normal people. So just let them know. And thanks a lot to Ezoic. I appreciate them, stepping up. And I think we're going to switch cameras here again, and I'm going to look at some of the some of the things going on. So one thing, just make sure everything's cool in the chat. All right, fantastic. So one thing I want to show you is basically I realized that I needed to take care of my students in the 5-Figure Niche Site course, and I came out with 3 new units to help address basically the commission rate change. So I released those yesterday, and for the people that are in the course, which I know there are several of you, you got a few emails. One email said, hey, you can check it out. You can get in there later today and look at all the new units. And then I sent another one today that said you can actually go in there and review the new units, because the problem is, well, I didn't set it up properly. I messed up. And then I went in and I had to like reconfigure a couple things. And you know, when technology is working well, then it's fantastic. But if you mess up the settings a little bit, then no one can get to anything. And I didn't test it properly, so we ended up in a situation for about 24 hours where people couldn't get to it. It's okay. Some nice people sent me an email to let me know. So we're in good shape now. It took me a little while to troubleshoot it, but that's what I did this morning. So the cool part is I'm making this available to people that are not students in the course. So I am selling this mini course, and it's not a comprehensive course by any means, but I think I should be able to share my screen and just let you know what is going on with the course. Can we do that? Right. Yeah, I think this is kind of working. Excellent. So here's the deal. It is not a comprehensive course. This is a course that you'll be able to start using if you have an Amazon affiliate site and you were impacted by the commission rate change, which if you were earning money, you were probably impacted. It's not comprehensive. I want to emphasize that. This amendment is free of charge to people in the 5-Figure Niche Site course. If you are not in the course, it costs $67. There's a link in the description. Again, it is not comprehensive, but it is a set of strategies that you'll be able to work through and implement over the course of a few weeks and ongoing. It's not necessarily going to replace your lost revenue. I can't guarantee results. I can't guarantee anything, but it's a set of solid strategies. Now, the cool thing is I was able to chat with someone yesterday that they're not part of an affiliate marketplace, but they have contacts with the actual clients and the actual companies. So if you want to perhaps work with Home Depot or Target or some other brand, smaller brands, bigger brands, there are contacts out there that can help you negotiate and navigate that, which I did not know until yesterday, and I had a great conversation. The cool part is there are, rates that are published out there. There are rates that are published in Commission Junction, Share a Sale, Impact Radius, wherever. And the fact is you can get better rates than that if you have the right contacts. I'm one of those contacts. So within the course, once I, get this refresh list, this list of better rates, I'll be able to put that in the course. It's not going to be publicly available. That's sort of proprietary information. So anyway, if you want to check it out, I've already had a few folks enroll. I sent out an email this morning, and a couple differences from my normal courses. You get access to all the materials immediately. There's a 14-day money back guarantee. Basically, my other policy is 60 days and you have to work through all the material and that sort of thing. This one is 14 days. It's a little less stringent. There's no other cost associated with the material here. You don't have to buy other products or pay for a service or anything like that. You do have email support. I give you a couple caveats like don't spam my inbox and be inconsiderate, ask good questions, that sort of thing. And basically it'll apply for any niche, so it doesn't matter what you've worked in. It's sort of universal. These are evergreen ideas and tactics, strategies. Again, I don't guarantee results. I can't guarantee anything. It's not necessarily going to make up for all the lost revenue or anything like that, but it is out there and you could check it out. So yes, that is my pitch on that for now. And what else do we have? I know the chat's been going bananas over there. So let me hop back and see what's going on here. Oh, we have Justin on. Very good. Very good. Justin was on the show a little while back. We have the J Vlog. Okay. So Justin Mills has a question. You watch all of the videos. Thanks for the support. Since the Google update, your new posts have an index. Normally they index right away, but on your Google console, you have 7 new posts and all of them show. Okay. And okay, so you didn't really ask a question. You just gave us some information. So that's cool. Thank you for the information. Oh wait, there's more. There's more. Okay, I'll keep going. They're discovered, but they're not indexed. It's been 15 days and they haven't changed. Their quality content, any ideas? Yeah, just keep waiting. Keep publishing stuff, keep waiting. I think maybe Brady mentioned there's some more stuff you could try. Do you have many links to your website? I would say, I mean, we're going through an algorithm change period, so I wouldn't sweat it too much. Just keep publishing good content like you have been doing. I think that's probably one of the best things that you could do. All right, Derek's on. We have Kurush, and I'm going to skip a couple questions. I'm going to come back to, and I'm going to come back to some of the questions. So I just want to make sure the chat isn't falling apart over there. And by the way, if you do enroll in the new course, basically dealing with the rate change, let me know if you have any technical issues. Again, I had some configuration things incorrect, and now that they are fixed, I think we're good to go. I've gotten feedback from the people that have enrolled this morning, and we were able to work through the issues, and they're good to go. But if you do enroll and you have any trouble at all, just let me know and we'll be able to look at it. I will look at it and make sure you're in good shape. All right, next thing we're going to talk about when we go to our agenda here is Carbonate. So I mentioned this before, and the cool thing with Carbonate is it's a very fast theme. So again, this is my friend's theme that he created, Matt Giovanisi. By the way, he was on a live stream recently, and he's going to be on the podcast, sort of a rebroadcast of that live stream as well. I know a lot of people listen to the podcast and watch on YouTube, which I'm thrilled that you want to watch in both places and check it out. But the reason I love this theme because it's very lightweight. It is super small and super fast. Matt actually uses this theme on his affiliate site. So including the affiliate site that pulled in whatever, $370,000 in 2019, he uses this theme. So a lot of people were asking him for the theme, and they wanted to have it available. So he he packaged it because he was using a custom built theme, and he packaged it up, put it in this. Now, the interesting thing is it's devoid of a lot of options. The other thing is there are no support, there's zero support. The good thing is it's fairly simple. Matt does give you some guidance on using the theme. So, right here, he tells you how to install it and use it. So, you install it like any other theme pretty much. It's very straightforward. You can tweak a couple things here and there. You could tweak the colors and all that stuff. So that's good. But you do it via the edit themes option, which, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if this is the best practice out there to edit directly like this. but it is a way that you can do it. And I would encourage you to always have a backup if you're doing any sort of editing like this, by the way. But you basically can change your font, your color, that sort of thing. And I installed it on a site that, basically, it's not a throwaway site. Let me show you real quick. It's not 100% like a throwaway site, but it is my sort of vanity name website. So I can show you that here in a second. Let me just pull that up for you here, and it'll just take a second here. Almost there. All right, so right here, nope, that's the same. We're just looking at, there we go. So this is Doug.Cunnington.com, and I was using Thesis. So I used the Thesis Focus WordPress theme. It's built on the Thesis framework, and you'll see here that it's a very simple theme overall. Very simple. You have the text in the middle. There's no frills. You have a small navigation up here. You can only put, I think, a maximum of 6 items in the menu. By default, there are 4. And oops, sorry, folks. We're zooming in like crazy. By default, there are 4 things in the menu, and there's some customization that you can make pretty easily. So I changed the font and I changed the color. I put a couple things in the menu here. And if you go check to see how fast this loads, it's even faster than it was with Thesis. And sorry, it's Focus WordPress theme. So the Focus WordPress theme is the one I use over at Niche Site Project. And there's some added functionality, which I really appreciate. But like I said, I'm going to be using this theme Carbonate on the semi-public case study that I'm doing. So if you just want to see how fast this thing loads, you can go test Doug.Cunnington.com and you can see the page speed insight score. You could test it on Pingdom. You can go to your worst internet connection on your mobile phone and just see how fast it loads. It's ridiculously fast. So I'm pumped to use it. And again, the fact that it doesn't have as many options is something that I appreciate. I actually kind of like the fact that I'm not going to be searching around to figure out like, how do I do this? Or how do I do that? Now, one thing I may do, because there are certain features in Focus that allows you to say, put a box of, a colored box as a background with a little shadow that just makes it pop a little bit more. So there are a couple, it's basically like custom CSS. So it's highly likely that I will either hire a developer to work on that stuff for me, or good people in the audience. If you are a CSS, or if you understand CSS and you want to help me out and get a little shout out and get some credit. In fact, I was going to say, if no one reaches out to me, I'm probably going to hire a WordPress developer to do just some light CSS development for me. Nothing crazy. I'm pretty sure I could figure it out on my own, but I'm pretty busy and I don't have time to mess with it. So, and there's just a few items and I'll be able to point you out or point it out to you. I'll be able to point out exactly what I want. Hey, I want to have like this little box to do this. I just want to be able to put a couple tags around it and have some richer formatting to make certain text stick out more. So yeah, so Carbonate, I like it a ton. And I think it's impressive that, Matt coded it by himself. Again, when I asked him, I was like, dude, I think it's crazy that you're working on all this stuff on your own, but he really enjoys it. And it's pretty cool overall. So I'm going to hop back to the chat, start answering some questions for you good people out there. Okay, I'm going to go back to the top. And great, my mouse died on this here. Actually, I'll pause. Before I go over and answer questions, you'll see Brady in the chat, Brady Cargill, and he is from Brand Builders. Brand Builders is a company that they have some services. They build some done-for-you sites, and they do a suite of things. Some of my friends run it, and I know them personally. I've known them for many years. Brady was like, hey, we're going to do free coaching. And I thought he was insane. So there's a link in the description. You'll see he's actually being very helpful in the chat already. But there's a link in the description. You can go directly to Brady's calendar. You can book time, 30-minute sessions, and he'll help you with whatever you have questions on. But I'll tell you like two things. I'm going to give you a list of items that they're particularly good at helping you on. And the second thing is you should have these sessions in the next week. So the way that the calendar looks, it looks like you could book it at any time, but you should have it in the next 7 days. All right. So it's 30-minute sessions. Brady, is that right? It's like 30-minute sessions, and he'll help you with whatever you need. They're particularly good at helping you out if you're looking to get started, choosing a niche, finding keywords and prioritizing keywords, structuring content, building backlinks, and setting up email marketing. You can sign up for free and talk to Brady about whatever he needs help, or whatever you need help on, he can help you with. All right. So the link is in the description down there. Just check it out. You get directly to his calendar. Again, it's free. Just sign up. The other thing is show up. If you're booking time on the calendar, show up. And little, Brady, little tip for you guys, charge $1. Charge $1, refund it if the person shows up. But if someone pays $1, they're going to be way more likely to show up. And it's still virtually free. It can be free. Refund the money or whatever. But yeah, if you make people pay $1, they'll be a little bit more likely, even though it's $1. Really strange, but it's a thing. Okay. Looking at the questions here. JJB says, if there's a monthly search volume change, will that affect the KGR significantly? If there's a significant change in search volume, then yes. It all depends on the numbers that are in there, but generally you don't have to worry about it too much. You can be more, I guess, specific about it and like check it more often and stuff like that. But I never have done that, and I don't advise people to. I don't advise people to get too, I guess, obsessed with that. But yes, you're right. Okay. Kurosh says, I can tell $1 million niche. Okay. That seems out of context, but I didn't see the rest. So thank you for that. Theron says, you're a big fan. Keep sharing the knowledge. All right. Thanks. Cynthia says, you have a question on content. On this course, I've been following the teacher talks about building pages instead of blog posts. What do we think about it? Sure, you could do whatever you want on that. The pro with pages is you can set up silos in the hierarchy like you're talking about. The sort of difficult thing is let's say you build out the silo. Let's say you build out the silo, you do your thing, and you architect the site in a way that you think is a good way to do it. And then you realize that you want to change it. You may have a little bit more work than if it was posts. Now, the thing is, if you're just doing posts, it's potentially, not always, but potentially less likely that you would have such a change. So I don't know if it matters too much, but I mean, from the standpoint of just like being deliberate and like building the site in a specific way, planning ahead. I mean, pages force you to plan ahead, and planning ahead is usually a good idea. Oh, Theron says the KGR changed your life. Do tell. Feel free to put in extra details on how it actually changed your life and all that stuff. Oh, Alex, big plug here. Alex says, I highly recommend the courses Doug offers, highly detailed and high in value. Thanks. Mike Sims, what's up? Thanks for the emails, by the way, buddy. Really appreciate the details. And Alex, thank you for the compliment. I need you to be an affiliate, All right, Justin says, how are the sites doing after the algo update? My rankings have been in flux. Yeah, traffic looks to be, up on some sites, down on others, which seems to be the trend for any of the recent updates just in general. How about everyone else? What do you see out there? Oh, Jamie. Jamie says, my site currently crashed with Ezoic and you're looking for help. You're having issues getting in touch with support. If anyone can help, Jamie, please send me an email. Yeah, send me an email, Jamie, and I'll hook you up with the people I know there. All right. Put something like in the subject line, like, hey, Doug, it's about Ezoic or something like that. I'll get it over to him today. And Justin has been trying to work with them a little bit. So Justin Seals, thanks for adding some detail with Jamie there. All right. And I lost my spot on the chat. Bob's on. Bob's on R7. All right. Okay. So Jamie says, you said they answered one email and they haven't replied in hours. Okay. Yeah. And if they crash the site, then yeah, that faster responses would be better. Okay. Next. David says, after listening to the interview with Ben, so recently did an interview with Ben Adler, would it be better to open one AdSense account for each site you create? I am not sure. Sometimes, yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in that area. I only have one AdSense account personally, but that is an interesting thing to note, David. Good point. Vinay says you're a big fan. Thank you. Ahmad says, what is the May 5th? I think it was May 4th Google update. The answer to that is I don't know. I'm not sure if anyone knows specifically. Everything impacted, these updates related or recently are really hard to relate to anything specific. They seem to be like an all-encompassing sort of update. Almost all of the recent ones over the last 2 years or so. All right, and Cynthia says, basically you're working in Spanish. Amazon hasn't changed the rates in Spain. So that's good. That's all. I mean, I think if you're working in a different geography, you definitely have, some, potential to grow in a market that's not mature yet. Here in the US, it's a little bit different, of course. ZH says, I chose a keyword with 200 in the search volume. So does that mean I will just get 200? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that. So that's the amount of searches on average for that specific keyword. So you might get a lot more traffic because there are long tail keywords associated with that keyword that you're targeting. And without a doubt, there are more related searches than just the 200. You may not even get 200 though. So you could get way more than 200 and you may get way less than 200. And I think I'm mostly caught up there, but feel free to ask us some other questions. I was recording a few podcast intros this morning and gosh, my throat gets sore. I got to be honest with you. My throat gets a little sore talking when I talk for many hours, which now that I'm thinking about the course that I'm recording and writing currently, definitely got to rest my voice and make sure I don't try to, talk too loud. make sure I just talk loud enough. I can just whisper, get closer to the microphone like this. But man, yeah, my throat ends up hurting a little bit. It's a little rough sometimes. So Mike says, thanks for the awesome content. You'd like to hear my thoughts about a site that gets 1,200 to 1,500 visitors a day. Would I work on growing that site or creating new websites? I would probably keep working on that website. Do you think, Mike, that you are earning as much money as you can from that website? I remember talking to, I actually was like a group call with Marty McLeod and Adrian Diaz. It's a few months back, and it's like, where should I focus my time? And generally, no one thinks on any given website that they are absolutely maximizing the revenue. You probably can get more traffic than you're getting right now too. So generally, not always, but generally, you're going to have like a bigger ROI on working on your existing site. So let's say you start a new site. All right. Let's say you start a brand new site and you publish 100 pieces of content. Let's say you publish 100 pieces of content on your existing site that is getting over 1,000, like over 1,200 visitors per day. Which one do you think is going to bring in more traffic more quickly? Probably the site that's already getting a shitload of traffic. The converse of that is if you have a site, maybe you're bored with it, just on a personal standpoint, maybe you've exhausted the sort of easier topics that are out there, and you're thinking, I'm bored for those two reasons. There's not as many topics that are easy to find, and I'm bored with the site overall. If that's the case, you may be in a spot where you're passionate about something, you're going to start a new site. In fact, that's what I'm going to do for this new semi-public case study that I'm doing within the new course. I was like, I could do like a site that I don't care about, but would be a good example for people to follow along with. Or I can aim at a topic that is poised for growth, something that I'm interested in, and something that has diverse monetization strategies. So after I thought about it a little bit, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and actually build a site, and people are going to know it's out there. People are going to see the content that I'm publishing. They're going to know the keyword research that I'm doing, or at least, a portion of it. And they're going to be able to, see how I'm doing it and why. I'm talking about it in the course, why I'm doing certain things. I hope, since I'm teaching the course, that I'll be able to execute a little bit, better, a little faster. And the other part is, I'm looking at it not as hey, how can I make as much money as I can in 6 months? I'm looking at it like, hey, what if I work on this for 3 years? I have plenty of time. I don't have to make any like weird decisions or compromises on content. What if I just want to build a good website with good content out there, expand the platform, and have a podcast, a YouTube channel, have other like monetization out there, and just a way to bring in more traffic than just, organic search. So that's how I'm looking at it. And I don't know how it's going to turn out, but there's going to be some caveats around it and everything. But I think it'll be pretty cool to work on a site with a goal of, doing it in public and hopefully building an asset to work with. All right. So that's my thought, Mike. I would keep working on the site that's bringing in a lot of traffic. Justin says, when am I shooting to have the new course live? Justin, I am working on the details. This could change, but the initial plan was to have it released at the very end of May. So it will be very soon. I don't have the ink dry on the exact date that it will be available, but it'll be around that week. So I'm hoping it will be that first week. And again, there's going to be a challenge as well associated with it. All right, ZH says, when we choose a specific niche like dog collar, should I make a post broad like dog? Yeah. So number one, what you described, when you say a specific niche and you say dog collar is a product. That is not a niche. So you need to go like 5 levels up from where you're at, and you're talking about the pet industry. All right. So that's what you need to look at. Should you make a post with like dog? I wouldn't specifically but I don't know the context in which you're asking your question, but I would not do that. Or do you think you're going to rank for dog? Probably not. You're probably not going to rank for dog. So there's no point in writing that post. I don't know what you would put in it anyway. All right, Mike says it totally makes sense and you hope it turns out well. Thanks. Yeah, I think it should work out pretty well. And at the end of the day, I mean, I know that I mean, it should be fine. I think you're talking about the site that I'm going to be building. But yeah, I think it's going to have a faceted revenue stream, and the audience is going to be across the board as well. So I think it's a very broad range. And the cool thing is in the challenge, which I don't have a landing page or a way for you to sign up for it yet, but the challenge is going to look at sites that are doing some of this stuff well, and some of the details that behind the scenes things that they are doing, where you may land on their site, you may not realize like how diversely monetized they are, and the fact that they actually are diversified. Because I hear people talk about this all the time, where they're like, oh, I want to be diversified, I want to have a diverse business, and then they have 5 Amazon affiliate sites or 5 AdSense sites that all get traffic from the same source. And unfortunately, it may feel like you're diversified and you could tell people that you're diversified, but if you have the exact same monetization across the board, if you have a single point of monetization, if you're getting all your traffic from one source, it's not as diversified. And there are different levels of risk, but the fact is, if you were getting all your revenue from one source, is not as diversified. Case in point, Amazon, right? So Amazon changed the commission rate. So even if you had one site, or if you had 100 sites, it doesn't matter. Like, it's one point of failure. And that's an area where I only, for a very long time, I just talk about Amazon Associate, even though I'm doing a lot of other things. And in the 5-figure niche site course, the students out there, that I'm just like, don't worry about ads right now. You need to focus on like the Amazon portion. You need to focus on the thing that you're trying to learn. People feel like, oh, I need to add, let's just make it up. They're like, hey, I'm getting 100 visitors a day, and I think I should earn more, so I'm going to put ads on the site as well. Well, it turns out they really had a long way to go to get more traffic. Look at who was just getting, Mike. Mike was like, hey, I think Mike's getting over 1,000 visitors a day. So like, if you add another monetization strategy there, that totally makes sense, right? But if you're getting 100 visitors a day, you don't have enough traffic yet to like try and squeeze more out. You kind of have to work on the thing that you need to work on, which would be get more traffic, optimize around the current monetization strategy. So I am talking about, people may be thinking, hey, you're like, hey, diversify, but also don't diversify. The thing is, you kind of have to like work on one thing at a time, or build a site with one monetization in mind and then add layers on top. So there's a couple ways to come at it, and the new course is going to address that in general. Justin says, have I heard about Amazon changing their commission to a tiered system? Only to the extent that I saw like the UK was moving to, it's not just a tiered system, but it's like tiered plus the products have to be in the qualified or non-qualified. So let me know, are people familiar with the qualified and unqualified purchases out there? So basically, a qualified purchase is one that is made in the category that you sent someone to Amazon for. So if you're looking at, if you're reviewing laptops, for example, and you send someone over to the electronics laptop section, and then the person purchases a hard drive because it's in the same category, you would get like a qualified purchase, not credit, but it would count as a qualified purchase. If someone goes over for laptops and then buys, say, an adult toy that is hopefully not in the electronics category, so they would get it would be a different non-qualified purchase. So it's a different commission rate for that. However, so if you look at the purchases that are out there in your account, if you pull a report and you see the purchases that have been made, and you see that most of the purchases are actually in the category that you send people to. So if it's the tools category, and most of the products you sell are tools, and you sell a lot of those, there's a good chance your commission rate will go up. However, if you look at the average shopping cart for your site and what people purchase, and you see that people usually purchase one item that's in the category that you send people to Amazon in, and then 80% of the purchases are random other stuff not in the category that you're in, you will probably make less. But there's a very good chance that you will make a lot more if, and really only if, you are sending a lot of qualified purchases. But Justin, I have no idea. A lot of times what I've seen is Amazon will roll out something to the UK to test some other European associates programs, and then they will roll it out to the US and across the board. All right. Yep, but I have no inside knowledge on that. JVlog says, I remember a guy that said, I earned $1 per day, and everyone laughed, but he had over 105-page sites. Yep, and I remember, by the way, people hear that, don't think that's a good strategy now. I don't think it is. But there was a time, like right when I was getting started, people were still talking about like microsites, and they were able to rank quickly. They were able to churn out sites that were of questionable quality really quick, like one site per day. So they would just put up one site per day, and they would put, a handful of posts out there. They'd make a few bucks from each one, but they were able to put up, a bunch of sites that would last for a couple months, and they would just get penalized and lose the traffic, but they would constantly be building more sites. And it was, it worked for a time, but that was a long time ago. So I don't recommend people trying that now. I think it takes longer to rank, so it's not a good option anymore. So, all right. Cool. So I'm going to sort of recap, look for any other questions out there. I didn't download any extra clips out there. By the way, people in the chat, did anyone check out DougCunnington.com just to see the load speed out there? Did you guys check to see how fast that it goes? It's insane. And then we'll give it another lengthy plug for the rate change. So there is a course that is basically available for anyone to purchase, but it's mainly, I created it just for the students of the course. Anyone who enrolled in 5-Figure Niche Site, basically, and didn't like lose access because they did a chargeback or any kind of nonsense, you have access to it. So if you enrolled in the very beginning, or if you just enrolled last week or this morning, you have access to it. All right. So a couple other questions that I'll hit. So basically you can enroll in the course, you can check it out. It is one of the courses that you get everything right away. You can go buy it right now. And before I finish this call, you'll get an email to create an account. You'll get access to it. You can consume all the content today. It'll just take you a few hours. It's not fluffy. There's just information in there. There are templates. There are processes that you can implement soon. As soon as I'm able to, I will be adding, I think, what would I call it? Special rates. So the special commission rates, where basically I have a contact that works with companies directly. So they are not associated with the, like, what do you call them? Affiliate marketplaces. So they're not directly associated with affiliate marketplaces, but they're more of, I don't know, they sort of fill the gap between us as publishers and the actual companies like Target, Home Depot, Sweetwater Music, some of these big companies out there, and some smaller ones too. Companies that, I mean, basically they sense that now is a time where us as publishers can work together with those companies. And there's an opportunity for us because Amazon has, sort of changed the relationship by changing the commission rate structure by a significant amount. So anyway, in that course, I'll have like the private, essentially it's a private list of affiliate rates that are potentially much better than what you see on a public facing marketplace. And it's through the relationships, Okay, a couple questions. Alexander says, what's my opinion on automated blogs? Stay away from, it's going to be a waste of time. Anything automated in the case of creating content is not going to work. Raja says, can it tell me about the website performance at a beginning level, how much time for the first article to rank, and so on? Well, it depends on the niche, but I would say if you're talking about ranking, we'll just say like in the top 20. Depending on the keyword research, the quality of the content, the niche, and blah, 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 it could take between, I would say at the very shortest, like 2 weeks to maybe 6 weeks or so. Kind of depends. And I never, I know you're just trying to get a gauge. And basically, I would never just publish one article and then just wait and see like what would happen. So I've never done that in isolation. It doesn't make much sense to me. I will approach it in a different way where I'm like looking at something as a long-term project. So I would publish probably consistently for a while, and I'd be working on the site for, a month or months. As you're doing more work, more traffic will come, you're adding more content, more long-tail traffic has a chance to rank. Laura says, I always thought a niche was a product in a topic, but you use the dog collar as an example of not being a niche. Well, and I guess it depends on the context. And I think whoever asked the question previously was asking it very far out of context in general. And I don't know what they were talking about. So yeah, I would say a niche is more like, it would be like the category. So if you wanted to be in a niche that I would accept, I would say dogs. Dogs would be a niche. If you wanted to go a little more broad and have the capability in the future, you maybe would go to pets and include, any household pets. But dogs is 100% valid because there are tons of products. There's like an individual category at Amazon where there's like dogs covered, or there's, a whole section at Petco and PetSmart, which probably have affiliate programs, by the way. And then there's companies that cater just to, dogs or pets in general. So Laura, to sort of wrap it in a bow, the niche would be something more broad that you could build your whole site around. And the individual products would just be keywords. Like, I guess, dog collar would not just, that's not even a keyword. It's still a higher level than that. I have to cough here. Wow, you can see like every freckle. Look at that. It's so sharp. So sharp. It's like I got dirt all over my face. Look at that. Jesus. All right, Justin says, what kind of tips do I have for training writers and dealing with writers who don't meet your expectations? All right. So Justin, that is a deep topic and one in which I will probably do a smaller course on, by the way, because just that bite-sized piece of like being able to hire writers, work with them, train them, have documents that you can like send to them, have a job aid that guides them through, writing the content, formatting the content, adding images, all those details, adding affiliate links, all those things. That's a whole, it's a lot of material. So basically, what tips? Be patient. Give them as much information in the form of the job aids as possible. All right. And if they don't meet your expectations, then you could try to coach them. Usually if someone makes a mistake, it's because they didn't have enough information. Unless they don't give a shit. Sometimes it's a bad employee. You can try and work with them some and coach them. And if we're operating under the assumption that you're paying a fair rate and the person wants to work with you long term and get good reviews, they are trying to do a good job. So if they're trying to do a good job and they don't have enough information, there could be a gap between like your expectations and what they provide. So you got to marry those up, make sure they have the info that they need. And it's about trying to get feedback from them and letting them know, hey, if you have a question, let me know. I'll help you get those answers to your questions so that you could turn in material that we want. And then if they are not receptive to that feedback, then you have to release them. And cool. Bob says, let's give Doug more thumbs up. So if I answered any of your questions, give me a thumbs up. It helps people find the video and blah, 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 blah. All right. All right. Gustavo says, I just ran the speed. Oh, sorry, folks. Gustavo ran the speed test for the site that I installed Carbonate on, and it was a 98 for mobile and desktop. And further, Gustavo, man, my throat is fucking killing me. Sorry, folks. Gustavo says that he has a 95 and a 98 for mobile and desktop respectively from the Ezoic speed tool. So case in point, it works if you implement it. Sometimes there's configuration trouble. If you do have trouble, you can shoot me an email and I can hopefully route you to people that can help you out, especially if you're kind of in a pinch like Jamie is. All right. Next, Laura says, any advice on picking a niche? Yes. So I'll give sort of broad stuff. Couple things that I would consider now. I would make sure that there are a few areas that you can monetize in. So generally, the two that are going to be sort of slam dunks, AdSense or an ad network for any kind of how-to articles. And then Amazon should be a viable route. It's not going to be the most profitable most of the time, but let me take that back. Potentially, it's not going to be the most profitable depending on the category, depending on a number of other factors. The fact is, Amazon still is probably the best option most of the time for most people, for most niches, because of the volume of products and sales. Right now, even though the commission rates are lower and a couple of my sites have dipped in traffic over the last 4 days, not a huge dip, but it's like, a little commission rate change or a little algorithm change, couple rankings change. Revenue is higher than I would have expected. It's bananas just because, Laura, more people buy from Amazon than anywhere else. So I would make sure that there are other products out there, other options that you can add to later. Justin says, have I ever not paid a writer because they were horrible and not listened to your suggestions? Yes. And I always work through Upwork and they have pretty good rights for both the client and for the freelancer. So if you give feedback, if you're specific and they don't take your feedback, or they're running, they're missing deadlines and stuff, I've 100%. It's only happened maybe 3 different freelancers, and basically, yeah, it's been fairly easy to work with Upwork and say, hey, they didn't work out. They also asked for X, Y, and Z, and they were late, and they didn't do X, Y, and Z. All right. Oh, Michelle, what's going on? Okay. Derek says, do I have any plans on diversifying any of your current niche sites from Amazon? Yeah, Derek, you got to check out all the new material in the course. And I have a whole new course coming out on that topic as well. So yes, and it's out there. So Derek, you can get to it with your 5-figure niche site membership. And for everyone else, you could buy it. You could buy it. Michael says you're late, but you're happy to see me. Thanks for the support, of course. And yeah, let me know. Do you guys dig the camera? I think it looks like pretty sweet. I'm going to see. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I can swap the focus so you could actually see some of the pictures. All right, this could be dangerous. It's going to be a little wobbly. Pretty sweet. Yeah, so that is Morning Glory right here. Morning Glory. It's in the area of Old Faithful. And then this is Old Faithful right here, right there. Cloudy day. That's Grand Prismatic. And this is the lake, which it's kind of hard to see. It was very overcast, but we went on this pretty cool hike up there as well. And then I have a few other pictures that I didn't hang yet, but those will be coming. There's plenty of room for more. And I think I can refocus this thing, and then I got to back it up. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with how this is working out, and the battery is actually holding up pretty good. I still got to train myself to look at the lens and not the little viewfinder over there, but it is nice to see. It is nice to see over there. And then I can just swap back over here, and we'll hit a couple other questions. I need to like mount the monitor so it doesn't sway so much. Oh, this is amazing. So Michelle says, on the algorithm update, all my sites' traffic has increased, and it's the first time in 2 years. People are complimenting the camera. Thank you. Yep, it's a DSLR, and I have a really nice lens. It's not a Canon lens. It's a Sigma 18 to 35 1.8, and I did a bunch of research because like the Canon sort of equivalent was more expensive and the specs weren't as good. It was actually an 18 to 30, what was it? It's a 16 to 35, but it's a 2.8, not the 1.8. So for the camera geeks out there, you get a little bit shallower depth of field, a little better in low light, and both of which are great things to have. It's a beast of a lens, and it was a little bit cheaper than the Canon version and better specs. Okay. Couple other questions. Okay, Laura says, thanks for answering the questions, but I didn't answer how to pick a niche, not how to pick affiliate marketing partners, as the latter is easy. Okay, so how to pick a niche, basically, like go find a category in Amazon. This is the easiest way. Find a category in Amazon, and I would just make sure that the prices are in the right range. So Laura, that's kind of a throwaway answer. The scope of that is a little bit bigger, but generally people are buying like whatever category you find. People are usually buying like whatever it is. If it's, if you niche down really deep, you can find people are selling a ton of stuff in general. And I would just say, make sure you're moderately interested in it. It turns out almost anything that you can pick, you can just about create a site around. Now, if everything's like a cheap product, then I would probably stay away from that one. And by the way, if you figure out how to pick affiliate marketing partners and you think it's easy, then you have solved a huge problem that a lot of people don't know how to solve. So if you know how to do that already, Laura, then you're in great shape. And I would say picking a niche is going to be fairly simple. And another just random idea is if you go to like a podcast directory and you start looking at different podcasts, like if people have a podcast on a topic, there's a market out there. So if you find a few podcasts on a specific topic, there's probably a pretty big market out there. If you put that together and look at the Venn diagram of categories on Amazon plus podcasts or even YouTube channels, if you look at all of those, then there's a market out there. Because the thing is, you don't want to pick a niche where no one is searching for or interested in the topic. You want to make sure there's a market out there that wants to buy products. I'll give you an example of a bad niche, which should sort of help things. So a bad one would probably be, while you could get a huge audience, if you are aiming for like the frugal, saving money, like get out of debt area, you're looking at a much longer, sales cycle. Yes, eventually, once people get out of debt, once people are, if you have a frugal lifestyle, you're probably not going to all of a sudden increase your spending. You're frugal. You're getting off on not spending money. So don't aim for that. If you're aiming for get out of debt, pay off your college loans, and be frugal, no one's buying anything. You're convincing people not to buy stuff. The whole industry is convincing people not to buy stuff. Sure, there could be a couple little affiliate offers here and there, but let's say you build a huge email list and you're going to build your own product. You're going to build your own product and you're going to sell it. Guess what? No one wants to pay any money because they're all frugal. Okay. I think I made my point there, and we're going to move through. Okay, just make sure that I got everything. Okay, Colette says, if one is in the travel space, what affiliates do I suggest to make the most money? All right. So I am not in the travel space, so I have no clue. I have absolutely no idea. So I would say, here's how I would reverse engineer it, Colette. Go to some of the bigger affiliate sites, check out some podcasts, YouTube channels, see what affiliates they are working with. I suspect, though I'm not 100%, I suspect it is niche dependent and location dependent. So if you specialized in, say, walking tours for US cities, you could probably really hone down and work with those specific companies and cut individual deals. Maybe you have sort of like sponsored type content where you can, really focus in, say for a month on, let's say it's a podcast. You could do content for a month on a specific city and just talk about that a lot. So I would look for individual deals. And again, I think it's probably location dependent. If it's more broad, then you may have to branch out. I would look at the products that you're selling. If it's physical products, see if they have affiliate programs through one of the bigger marketplaces out there. All right. Laura says thanks. And All right. I think we're going to wrap it up for the day since my voice, my throat is hurting. My throat's hurting. And I think it's just from talking, not catching a cold or anything, but just Drank a lot of coffee today. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. By the way, if you have not signed up for my email list, go to nichesiteproject.com, click the green button, sign up for the email list. I share all my templates and systems. And actually, Justin, a lot of the things you were asking about as far as working with writers and how to deal with them, a lot of that is in the templates available like out there. You do have to like read the fine print. There are several templates, and that is why a course is, probably going to be a good option to actually walk through everything. All right, a bunch of people are saying thanks and they appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for joining me. I like doing the live streams, and I think we get some good questions in. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff here recently. Coming up soon in the near future, we will be doing some pretty cool stuff. And last plug, free coaching. If you're interested in free coaching, Brady can help you. There's a link in the description. You need to sign up for the next week though. All right. So got about 7 days. Brady's calendar is right there. He's doing sessions on whatever you want to talk about. If you want to grow the business, he's been very helpful in the chat already. Probably more helpful than myself in a few ways, definitely more polite. And you'll be able to just sign up. Like I said, you get right to his calendar. And don't forget, you can buy my course. Hopefully some people bought the course while we were just chilling out here, and we can get feedback, get it better. And don't forget, there's going to be, basically exclusive affiliate rates once I get that stuff in a spreadsheet so I can share it within the course, and you'll have a specific contact which you'll be able to work with, and I know personally. All right, thanks. Have a good day out there, and see you later.